Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Germany once again, and this is another one of the beers of course that I brought back with me from my trip over to Munich recently. So for this one we're going to try another new brewery. These guys are called Hopfen Hacker, basically Hop Hacker if you want to translate it into English, and this beer is called Kill Bill. So it's 4.4% and it's a Belgian style wit beer, and should be quite an interesting review because this is the very first Belgian style beer that I've come across that's been brewed in Germany. So as I always say, it is cool to try to see how other countries brew certain styles of beer. I love trying Scotch ales from all across the world, so I'm very interested to see how the Germans get on brewing some of these Belgian style beers. I'm a big fan of Belgian beer of course, so I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer because I think this will be quite an interesting one. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I could do from Hopfen Hacker. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there of course for all the German beers that I've reviewed for you, and that's constantly being added to. And please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. And if you are particularly interested in German beer of course, do make sure you check out my friend Peter over at the Clueless Drinker. I'll put the link to his channel down in the description below as well. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Hopfen Hacker then. So Hopfen Hacker, as I mentioned to you, are a small brewery based in Munich, and they were founded by Werner Scheugraf, who's worked in the brewing industry for about 15 years. He used to sell equipment, he's also trained in brewing, and I think he's done various other things across that time period as well. But back in 2013 he met Matt Riggs, who was a home brewer from the US, at a beer fair, and they started to do some home brewing together and just basically experimentation. But soon after, Werner decided that he wanted to establish his own brewery, and he named it after kind of computer hacking. Basically the name, as I mentioned to you, if you translate it into English, is Hop Hacker, and he was quite into computers and things as well, so he named it kind of basically after the idea that he wanted to get into beers and do things with them that you really shouldn't do or hadn't been done before kind of thing. But they actually brew a combination of the traditional Munich styles of beer and also various other things as well. So they do some Belgian beers, they do some American beers, and they do have a fairly kind of decent list of beers that they've produced now. If you check out the Rate Beer page, you can see all the different things that they've done. But the brewery itself is based in the Heidhausen district of Munich, which is kind of between the river on the eastern side of the river and Ostbahnhof, the Deutsches Museum. It kind of encompasses that whole little area of Munich. I went and explored it a little bit, and it is a pretty nice place. But Munich generally is a very nice city, so it's somewhere that I do recommend you check out if you get the chance. And it's only in the last couple of years, these guys were established back in 2014, it's only in the last couple of years that some of these smaller German craft breweries have popped up and started brewing different styles of beers other than the traditional ones. So it's a very exciting time for brewing over in Germany, and there's lots of little breweries like this popping up these days. So yeah, get over to Munich and try some of these beers. Try the traditional ones and try the new kind of craft beers as well. So that's all you need to know about the brewery for just now. We'll get on to the tasting of the beer. Like I mentioned to you, all the links are in the video description below. So yeah, so as you can see, this is a really quite nice beer, a nicely presented beer. This one there, you can see Kill Bill with the sword, which is quite interesting. I forget what his name is. Uma Thurman maybe? I can't remember. But there you can see the Hopfen Hacker symbol on this one, Hopfen Hacker Brewing Company, and you can see that's on the bottle cap as well. I'll just tell you a little bit about the beer on the side. It just says a Weiss beer brewed with beer tradition, bitter orange and coriander. So this one isn't in a line with the Reinheitsgebot, of course. There's mosaic hops in this one. It's fresh bergamo. Something like this. It's a Belgian wheat beer. Something like this. My German, I need to improve my German a little bit, but it's got a really nice aroma. It's saying, it's just telling you a little bit about the company as well. But yeah, so this one has quite bitter orange and coriander. It uses mosaic hops, so it should have a nice tangerine note as well. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. So let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Looking forward to this beer. So yeah, nice smoky opening then, and we'll get it out into the glass. You can smell some of that nice tangerine note from the mosaic as well in this one, just as you pour it out. You always have to pour these Belgian styles of beer quite carefully, just because they always go a bit crazy with the head. But there you are. This one's poured really quite nicely, and as you can see, it looks how you would expect from a Belgian Witbier. So you can see there's a nice kind of pale golden straw hazy colour there. There's one or two fingers of a frothy white head, some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. But overall, it looks really quite nice. It looks exactly as you'd expect from a Belgian Witbier. So let's have a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Oh, that smells nice. You can really smell the mosaic, the juicy tangerine notes from the mosaic coming out in this one. There's a wee bit of lemony character as well. So there's some of that typical lemongrassy citrus, a bit of floral aromaticity from the hops as well. But yeah, that's a really nice smelling beer. So yeah, you can get the typical Belgian notes. You've got that bready, yeasty character in there. There's a little bit of clovey spice, definitely some kind of wheaty notes as well. There's maybe a wee bit of a kind of biscuity character in there too. I'm not picking up too much in the way of the coriander, to be honest. I think the juicy kind of fruity notes from the hops and the orange peel are kind of covering that a little bit. But yeah, definitely you can smell that orange peel, the nice kind of tangerine notes from the mosaic hop, a little bit of grassy, floral aromaticity like I was saying. Some lemongrassy notes as well, and there's a wee tiny touch of earthiness, but it has those typical Belgian notes. You've got a little bit of that banana, some wheaty character, and that kind of doughy, slightly spicy, bready, yeasty note as well. So it does smell really nice actually. It does have that typical kind of Belgian nose to it. So as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you actually get stuck into it. And this one is really quite nice. I love the mosaic hop. As you'll know if you've watched the channel before, I'm a bit of a sucker for the orange hops, you know, like Pacifica, Mandarina, Bavaria, Amarillo, Mosaic, all these kind of things. I love orangey smelling beers. So without further ado then, let's actually get stuck into this one. So this is the Kill Bill, a Belgian style Witbier from Hopfen Hacker in Heidhausen in the city of Munich in Germany. Prost. Yeah, that's pretty good. I have to admit, I like that beer. I'll say straight away, I do like this one. This is an ideal summer beer. It's got a good little bit of carbonation in it, this one, and the first thing you're going to notice about it is just how kind of easy drinking it is. This is a really good summer beer, quite a refreshing one, and I do like that these Belgian beers. And some of them, if you drink the heavier ones, of course, the Tripel and the Quadrupel are my favourite Belgian styles of beer. I love the big boozy and complex ones. But when it comes to the blondes and the wit beers, if they're done right and they have just the nice kind of refreshing quality about them, they can be really, really sessionable. I think this is actually a little bit light in alcohol content in comparison to the Belgian ones. I think most of the Belgian ones sit roughly around the 6% mark. This is 4.4, so in that way it is a little bit lighter. But it's certainly quite a nice beer, and I guess that's probably the German take on it. They want beers, most German beers, the Dunkels and the Helles and things, that are around kind of 5% if I'm remembering correctly. So this is probably just one of the kind of German takes on it, or one of the Germanizations, I guess you could say. But they've certainly done a nice job with this. So yeah, as I always say, sugar the beer around your palate a little bit before you start analysing the flavour too much. But this is really nice. So in the middle of the palate with this one, you can just feel a little bit of that kind of bready, yeasty character. That blankets the middle of your tongue. On top of that, you start to get some of the wheaty kind of smoothness to it. And you just get, you can feel a little bit of the coriander. The thing you're going to notice about the malt base in this is it is very, very smooth. I get a little tiny bit of biscuity character at the front part of my palate, which is quite interesting, because that's not something you kind of commonly associate with a Belgian beer, but it does add a nice little complexity to it. But the thing you're going to notice about this one is the kind of yeasty characters, as you always expect from a Belgian beer. They're going to be yeast forward. This one, the yeast is kind of well balanced with the hops. It's not as yeast forward as a Belgian brewed wit beer would actually be, but it's just nice, and it gives the beer a little bit more kind of sessionability to it. I do like how it's just balanced there, but yeah, that kind of doughy, bready, yeasty thing just underpinning it, a little bit of biscuit towards the front. There's a wee bit of the banana flavour in there as well, but really For me, it's the doughy, kind of bready, yeasty notes that are dominating the flavour of this one, and that malt base is kind of, or that malty, kind of yeasty base that you get with the Belgian beers, is very, very smooth. So on the hoppy side of things, there's a wee teeny bit of earthiness there in the back corner of the palate. I do wonder if they've used one of the German noble hops in here as well as the Mosaic, because you can pick up just a little bit of that slightly sweet German noble quality there. As you come further forward along the sides of your tongue, you get a little bit, a very slight herbal quality to it, and then you get a little bit of the kind of floral aromaticity at the front corners of the palate. Then round the very front curve of the tongue, there's that nice, slightly lighter lemongrassy character as well. But yeah, it's really nicely done, this. And as I always say, just behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get this little oily bubble where the nice kind of juicy, fruity notes start to come out of the beer. You can definitely pick up that orangey, tangerine note that you'd expect of the Mosaic hop. And as you progress further and further into the flavour, I think there's a little bit of an apricot-y flavour comes out of this one as well. You've seen how long it was since I took a sip, but I definitely think there's a wee bit of apricot-y notes starting to come out of this one now. It's really just interesting because it's a completely different kind of spin on this sort of traditional Belgian Witbier style, but I think they've done a nice job of this, and on the basis of this one, I'd certainly want to try some of their other beers, of course. And as you move further and further into the aftertaste, the malt base just gets a little bit more prominent. You can feel a little bit more of that kind of slightly banana-ish flavour coming out with some of the citricy notes. The coriander, you can feel a little bit, that becomes a little bit more obvious as you go on with the beer as well. It doesn't have the kind of slightly spicy note that it can have in some beers, but it does have just a little bit. It's almost like a kind of infused, coriander-infused kind of bready, yeasty flavour that you start to get out of the beer further into the aftertaste, and the hoppy notes are very nice as well. So just this beer has a lot of complexity in the aftertaste, in the kind of foretaste, if you like. It is pretty straight up, but it is very interesting to see how the Germans have taken this Belgian beer style, and they've sort of just made it a little bit more kind of sessionable and drinkable, if that makes sense. So I have to say, I think Werner at Hopfen Hacker has done a pretty nice job with this one, so hopefully I can try some of his other beers at some point soon. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this one then, I'd say it's mid-bodied, but it's on the lighter side of mid-bodied, I would say. The carbonation, it does have a fairly active carbonation to it, this one, and that suits it. That makes it a nice kind of summer beer, to be honest with you. The mouthfeel is well balanced between being that slightly almost chalky character that you expect from a Belgian beer, but it's got a good little bit of oily character to it as well. It's not going to blow your head in terms of IBUs, but there is a nice little bit of bitterness to it. The malt base, as I was saying, is very smooth and kind of bordering on sweet, but quite smooth as you would expect from the Belgian beer, and there's a little bit of a juicy, fruity note to it as well. But overall, it's a nice beer, and it would certainly make me want to try some of the other Hopfen Hacker beers. So yeah, big thumbs up to Hopfen Hacker for this one. So this was the Kill Bill from Hopfen Hacker in Heidhausen district of Munich in Germany. They've done a very nice job of this beer. They've taken a Belgian style beer and made it a really nice kind of sessionable German take. So yeah, I think that's a good way to sum up this beer. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below if you've tried it yourself, and do let me know what your favourite beers are from Hopfen Hacker as well. But this is a brewery I do hope I can return to at some point in the future, and it has been cool to do my first review from these guys. So thank you once again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Kill Bill from Hopfen Hacker in Heidhausen, Munich in Germany. Prost.